Welcome to Faith Over Fear Podcast, Season 1, Episode 1, where obedience speaks. Welcome to Faith Over Fear. I'm your host, JC, and this isn't just a life, but this is obedience in motion. Here, we're choosing concentration over compromise. Here, we are breaking silence with sound. Here, obedience speaks. To be honest, I feel like it was a reoccurring feeling. Like, I felt genuinely like it was almost as if my whole life people kept reminding me fear doesn't have a place in your life, but it was a matter if I believed it for myself or not. And so I think there was a point where, with all that God was showing me about the future, I really had to ask myself, like, what are you gonna do, and what do you have to let go of to get to that end goal? And I really feel like that was it. Like, there was no real moment. There was just like, I really had to come to grips with the fact that at some point, all this stuff that God's showing you, all this vision that He's showing you, all this purpose, is not about to just show up. You got to put the work behind that. So it was a question I had to ask myself, like, are you really gonna let go of some stuff, let go of those fears, those doubts that you have in yourself to really get there? Or are you just gonna wait and keep waiting?
Okay, so what does faith? So how does your brand really like impact you? Like, what does it do for you? You know what I mean? Like, why do you choose this to be your representation of yourself? You know, because that's what a brand is ultimately.
I believe honestly that because I grew up in church, I feel like the discouraging factor that plays a role in my mind is that sometimes people think ministry is always behind the pulpit. Like, they feel like if you're not on a pulpit, you didn't make it. Like, God's not still using you. But it's really like anywhere that you speak concerning faith and God and purpose, that's ministry. Ministry is literally serving others. And I feel like this space that I'm creating is the epitome of what God is asking me in a way of sharing and shedding light on who I am and who He's created me to be, so it can help someone else to understand that your voice is needed.
What does ministry mean to you directly? That may or not be important.
Ministry to me plays a big role in people's mental health. To me, I've always been a firm believer in therapy and God, and so for me and my walk and how it's helped me, it's helped me to understand that I'm not the only one going through what I'm going through. And as much as it would seem like through my mind and through my thoughts, sometimes they can come off as like, okay, I'm feeling these temptations just by myself. Even though I have someone in my family that went through that same thing, but if I don't vocalize my issue, or if I don't verbalize what I'm feeling and what I've been going through to them, I will always still be hiding in the shadows of what I'm doing. And so I always felt like ministry is therapy. Like, it's literally helping the broken understand that your voice, you may feel broken, you may feel like a vegan, bruised, battered, disgusted, and all, but God can still use you, and He still loves you, and He may not be physically in front of you, but He'll express His love through people that's around you. And so I'm a firm believer in that.
what were some of the things that you went through before, and how did you get through them?
Okay. I feel like some things that I went through a lot of people pleasing. That was the main thing for me that I really it kind of isolated me, but in an unhealthy way. Meaning that I isolated myself because it was almost like no one understands me, or no one's ever gonna get me because of the fact that I'm trying to make you feel comfortable or accommodate your feelings, but really it's not reciprocated to me. And so I felt like it was a matter of just really realizing that at the end of the day, I had to find healthier ways to grow. And without people, like a healthy separation between me and my closest friend, because I'm not going to always be locked in with her all the time. And it just was a point where I'm like, you know what? You have to do what's best for you. Period, point blank. And it may sound selfish, but if God is in the equation, it's not selfish. It's literally you taking time out to realize again who you are. Like, I know who I am, but there's certain things I did not know. Without time, without taking the time to get to know me, without taking the time to pray and get before God about who it is that I am. So that's what it took for me.
What did those trials do to help you also elevate? Because we all go through certain things, and it can do one or two things. It can propel you or break you. So what were the things that, elaborating what you said, how did that propel you?
Praying was that action that propelled me to this moment. I made sure that prayer was not an option. Like, it was a life. Like, that was my life. Like, if you had to ask me, would I go out with my friends or would I rather pray? I would rather pray. I nurtured that because it kind of broke me while I was praying, if that makes sense. There was points where I would just cry and cry and cry with no words. But that action led to a reaction. And so it literally kind of just slowly grew me and ushered me into who it is I'm supposed to be without me even really realizing that all it had to take was me letting go of myself and allowing myself to be broken before him, because I was a perfectionist. I wanted everything to be perfect, when really we serve a God that tells us not to be perfect. Come to him as we are. And so it's like, man, how can we do that if I messed up yesterday or if I messed up last week? But it's like, do you really understand to have someone love you through that? I prayed. So that's literally my action with how I got here to this moment. So the mission Faith Over Fear has, it's a space for the real. It's for the ones that have been living in that in-between place for so long. The ones that have been wrestling with the vision that God gave you. The ones that are tired of performing. The ones that are tired and have grown weary with the fact that, you know what do I do? If God tells me to go, do I have the resources to go? Do I have the mindset and the mentality to really trust God in that step? This podcast, this space is for that. You have the ability to be in the space where you can be transparent You don't have to feel like you have to put on this facade on who you are and who God chose you to be. You are who God called you to be. He saw something in you that you didn't even see in yourself. And so this place is that place. I believe that with this podcast, it's going to grow a community of young adults, and it could be those older that listen and just need a space to really understand that fear doesn't have a place. Fear has never had a place, if we be honest. Faith has always and will always lead you to that vision, to that purpose, where you need to go. Faith will take you there. Faith is the driver. Fear is not a driver. You can't look back. There's no looking back now. We gotta move forward. And so that's what the podcast is about. That's our mission. Move forward. Don't look back. So what's coming? There'll be some days where it's just me and a microphone just to really talk about the weight of what God has been saying. Call them holy interruptions, if you will. Just revelations of what God is telling us, and even what He may share through someone else. And that's what this podcast is solely founded on. Like, we're gonna have different people up here. There's not gonna just be me. There's gonna be other people to share their walk with Christ. How did they get to Christ? How did they conquer that secret assassin of fear to come and try to take their purpose, that tried to take their faith? And so that's what this is about. We're here to hear testimonies about how people have came through to present day. How did you make it through? And so I'm so excited because it's going to be a lot of truth, raw conversations, bold beliefs about who God is to them. And even for those that may not know God yet, this may be the foundation for you to know Him, just based off of what you hear from someone else on this podcast. And so I'm just excited because that's what's to come, and I can't wait for you guys to be a part of that. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure that you like, comment, share, tag, subscribe to our page, and let's start this journey together.